I'm Julie Davis, Senior Director of Workforce Development. 2 years ago, AEM invited me to assess workforce development in the industry sectors we serve, understand the workforce challenges that exist, and work with the Workforce Committee to try to create a plan to support our members. I want to take a moment to tell you about the resources we've created and what we've learned. I'm not going to take a lot of time today to convince you that getting workers to fill manufacturing positions is a challenge and for some, a crisis. According to the 2021 Deloitte Manufacturing Institute talent study, US manufacturing is expected to have 2.1 million unfilled jobs by 2030. The pace of digital transformation in manufacturing will likely continue to redefine work for humans, and manufacturers should be looking at pathways to tomorrow's jobs today. So, given that outlook, what have we done to attempt to alleviate some of that pain? First, let me assure you that, like many associations, advocacy for workforce and working to find ways to bring attention to the importance of skilled trades education are continuing foundations of AEM's work. What we feel that we've done that is significantly different is to create a digital toolkit that categorized workforce topics, provides cliff notes on best practices, while backing up that information with articles and research. It also includes case studies from member companies on what innovative workforce development looks like on the ground. This toolkit was made available to our members at the end of January. In April, we followed up with a workforce development organizational assessment. We measure what matters, and if improving recruitment and retention of employees is important, we wanted a way for companies to benchmark where they were in their workforce journey against themselves and against the industry. This assessment is designed to be taken by a decision maker, someone in an HR function, and someone from operations. The results are meant to facilitate conversation around workforce strengths and opportunities and understand how those perceptions may differ based on organizational perception. If an organization decides to strengthen a workforce area, the action plans in the toolkit coordinate directly with the assessment. The latest resource to be released is the Community Asset Mapping tool. This tool enables organizations to understand what local workforce development organizations are available to them, what those organizations can do, and it maps who the company is currently engaged with while clearly showing additional opportunity. This is a little less intuitive for companies who might not be familiar with workforce development, but it matches well with the individual consulting that is available. Although the toolkit was designed to condense information, there's still 15 core workforce categories available. And through some of the feedback we've gotten, we were asked to continue to streamline information. In response, we've developed the 2-Minute Workforce Tactics video series to deliver quick, digestible, and largely immediately implementable workforce solutions to our busy HR audience. This has also been a way for AEM to become identifiable with our new HR audience and to build rapport. In the agriculture sector, we continue to support curriculum for agriculture science education programming with the Teacher Scholarship Program. Over the past 4 years, those sponsored teachers have had over 2,000 youth engaged in their ag programs. This year, we're adding a new opportunity to sponsor a used material list for the ag technician class. We still need to connect OEMs and dealers to these classes, so if you're interested in more information, please let me know. We are also hosting a virtual workforce summit in August to provide members with the opportunity to look at what companies both inside and outside our industry are doing in workforce development, while also looking ahead at the future of work. So, the Workforce Department has been busy working to create research-based practices and solutions needed to meet our workforce challenge. Now I want to talk about how our members have responded to our workforce solutions resources. So this is where we're at after about the first 7 months. There has been very little engagement. Our account success advisors called over 150 members directly to offer an overview on our workforce materials. And of those 150 members, only 7 engaged in a discussion. As we consider why there has been such low engagement to resources that support what our leaders are telling us is one of the top 3 things that keep them up at night, we've made a few assumptions. And at the core of our assumptions are 2 things: leadership and connecting the talent strategy with the business strategy. We have to ask ourselves if we are intentionally changing our recruitment strategies and challenging our norms. The number one largest untapped talent pool in this country had $260 million channeled into it over the past 3 years, and a large portion was in manufacturing related skills training. The government also decided to incent hiring from this population by giving a minimum of $2,400 per person in tax incentives and offering companies an insurance policy that reimburses from any issue that hiring from this talent pool might cause. When hired, many companies find these employees to be some of their most loyal. So, are manufacturers unable to hire, or are we unwilling to hire from the ex offender talent pool? Women, minorities, veterans, underemployed, displaced workers, all of these are talent pools that require a different strategy to connect with. If we're waiting for these folks to show up at our door, well, our bait hasn't changed. We're fishing in our old fishing hole with thousands of other businesses, wondering why it's getting harder and harder to hire. Are we unable to hire, or are we unwilling to hire because we're too busy to change our strategies? Are we relying on our HR managers to initiate this change and find the time and resources themselves? Or are we thinking about how we can lead and empower them through this change? Workforce development is a business strategy that considers the time for return on investment compared with the width of audience that is reached. This slide represents the funnel that fills your workforce pipeline. The gray area has the broadest reach and the longest return on investment. This is the area that impacts industry perception. Engagement in this space educates and informs. It creates experiences that introduce industry skills, while parents, teachers, community members, and youth are all exposed. The middle section lessens the reach, but it still introduces the industry to a wide variety of people through hands-on engagement, firsthand experiences, builds brand awareness, and it creates relationships. The middle of this funnel supplies people to the narrowest section of the workforce funnel, which is where we get our trainees for the industry. And that's in the form of job centers, technical colleges, or other outreach activities. Most companies are only engaged at the very bottom of the funnel, where the return on the investment is the shortest. The problem with that is that area also has the narrowest audience reach. If we're not investing in filling our workforce funnel, then how do we know anyone is? And why are we surprised that our pipeline is drying up? Something magical is not going to solve our workforce challenge. No association, ad campaign, youth program, education system, or immigration reform is going to magically take care of the 2.1 million open positions forecast. However, each of us can significantly influence the pipeline of workers in our backyards. Each of us can do research based activities that have proven to be effective, and AEM can come alongside members to guide them towards faster implementation. I invite you to connect with me if you are in need of workforce support. I know that there's a lot of frustration about the workforce shortage, and I'd love if there was also some curiosity about how you might begin to approach your workforce development strategy a little differently. Thank you for taking time to connect.